A lot of us in 2020 have used our webcams more than we ever have before, whether it was just to keep in touch with people or for work, for meetings, or for whatever. And as a lot of us pulled that piece of tape off from our webcams that had been there for years and started using it for the first time ever, some people came to the realization that that built-in webcam in their laptop is not very good at all. In fact, it's really bad. Terrible, actually. And that's not just for lower-end laptops. Even higher-end laptops like the Dell XPS or MacBook Pro, their webcams are, for whatever reason, just not very good. It's almost like laptop manufacturers have a contest between one another to see who can have the worst quality webcam. It's really weird. I just can't understand it. So, for whatever reason, laptop webcams are usually not very good. So you might be inclined to go out and purchase a dedicated webcam. Now, for most of 2020, unfortunately, especially back in the spring and summer, that was kind of impossible. They were mostly sold out unless you wanted to buy a really horrible quality like 720p or VGA webcam from like 12 years ago that was being sold for hundreds of dollars from a third party. Yeah. Now, luckily, things at this point are improved. I was able to get this webcam here in late 2020 for the normal retail price, and it seems like most webcams now are coming back in stock, at least intermittently, and when they are, they seem to be being sold from the first-party sellers for the price that they're actually supposed to be sold for. So that's a good thing. And here's an example of one here. I wanted to go out and get a modern webcam, and since a lot of new laptops have USB Type-C ports, most laptops in the last couple of years, if they're a mid to high range laptop, they will have at least one. If it's a MacBook, of course, it has only USB Type-C ports. So I wanted to find a webcam that had USB Type-C, and there aren't too many options if you're looking for that. But here is probably the best one, one of the only ones that you could find. But it is Logitech. It is the Logitech StreamCam Plus webcam. Now, this does have a USB Type-C connection. The cable is pre-attached. You can't remove it, but it is Type-C. So if you're using this with a device that has Type-C ports, that's a good thing because you don't have to worry about any adapters. It'll plug right in. And it does also come with a tripod in the box, which is nice. So this Logitech StreamCam Plus, it's catered toward streamers to give them the ultimate experience. Now, I don't know how true that is, how much a streamer would actually benefit specifically from this camera. We'll go over some of the features of it in a little bit here. But, at least for a general use webcam, it is pretty good. But one thing I will say, it is Logitech's newest webcam. It just came out in early 2020. It is their newest webcam to be released, and it is probably the one of the nicest, most premium looking webcams that I've ever seen. Definitely a modern look to it. Anyway, here is the box that comes in. As you can see, it does shoot in 1080p 60, no 4K, which is maybe kind of disappointing, but it does shoot in 1080p 60. And of course, I'll have a sample of the video it can shoot in a little bit here. Anyway, yeah, that is the box it comes in. And now I'll show you the camera itself. So here's the camera. Very unique design. Because it's probably the nicest looking, most modern looking webcam I've ever seen. There's a sort of fabric on the front, looks very nice. It almost perfectly matches the fabric on another Logitech product here. This is the Logitech Combo Touch keyboard trackpad case for an iPad. I reviewed this back last spring, and as you can see, a very, very similar sort of fabric covering there. It looks really nice. This one might be a little bit of a darker color. They do make this webcam in two colors. There's this one here, the darker gray. They also make it another color that's the camera itself is white and the fabric is sort of a lighter sort of gray. So if you want a lighter color, they do have another option there. That's not something you see much, options in colors for webcams. Definitely not. So right away, this is by far the most stylish webcam you could probably get if that's something that's important to you. One unique feature of this webcam, as you can see it, I'm holding it both ways here. This does have a vertical video mode, and that's supposed to be one of the features that appeals to the streamers. Now, I've looked up some videos on YouTube about streamers reviewing this, and I don't know if they necessarily agree. I don't think they think that's a real big deal, a real big selling point that makes this specifically so good for streamers. So that's why I'm going to be reviewing this Logitech, even though it's a StreamCam. I'm going to be reviewing it more from the perspective of a general use webcam, because I don't think, despite its name, that there's anything that specific to streamers that they like so much about it. But if for whatever reason you want to record vertical video, even though I kind of always thought that was considered cringy, something you shouldn't do, you can do it if you want to. But you can just hold it like that and have the normal video mode. But anyway, it does come in the box with some accessories. It comes with the standard clip, clip on top of a monitor or on the lid of your laptop. And it's pretty easy. It just goes right in like that. Clicks right into place. You can clip it on top. You can change the orientation, of course, if you wanted to use that vertical mode and hold it like that. And now it's the vertical camera. And it also comes with a tripod, which is really nice. That's not something you see too much. You don't have to go out and buy one. If you want a tripod, you can use a tripod in the box. And it is a nice high quality tripod too, made out of metal. Feels very sturdy. It just clips in just like that. Adjustable, of course. Forward, pivot in any direction you need to. The little, you can loosen or tighten that little screw in the back to make it adjustable. And of course there are feet on it as well, and these can, of course, fold in and out, and you can pull them out to adjust them. Also, you can retract and expand the feet on this to make it taller or whatever how you need to. So a very nice tripod. It's nice that they give you that in the box. And of course, the attached cable is permanently attached on this webcam. Again, if you're using it on a USB Type-C device, that's, I guess, not a big deal because that's what you need anyway. But it would be nice having the peace of mind to detach it in case something ever happened to the cable or anything, or you needed a longer cable. Although this is a pretty sizable cable it comes with here. And of course, it is USB Type-C on the end where it connects to your computer. So here it is, clipped on top of a MacBook Air here. Of course, connected to the USB Type-C port. There it is on top. Looks very nice with a Mac. Almost kind of matches the space gray of the Mac. It is a very nice, the clip it comes with is very nice and adjustable. You can pivot it in. You can't turn it 360 degrees, but you can, pivot it forward and back to meet whatever angle you need. A lot of adjustment points. That's also a soft rubber too, so you don't have to worry about it where it goes against your laptop scratching anything. So there it is on top of a MacBook Air. It is a tiny bit heavy on the lid of the laptop, so you might find it flopping back a little bit, weighing down your laptop lid if you have a thinner, lighter laptop like this Air, but it's not that big of a deal. So here it is on top of a Dell Precision laptop. Now this Dell Precision is in the same exact chassis as the XPS 15. So if you have an XPS 15, it's essentially the same thing. But here's how it'll look. Now I was a little concerned about having the screen with such tiny thin bezels, if that would the clip would cover, and it comes close, maybe a tiny bit. You can adjust it so that it's more on the edge of the top of the laptop here. So it doesn't really cover any real area of screen. Maybe just a tiny, like 1 or 2 rows of pixels there, but not very obstructive there. Of course, the built-in webcam, this is one of those strange Dells that has it on the bottom left. That's probably the worst possible location ever for a webcam. But yeah, it works pretty well on the top of this, even with a very thin bezel screen like this. And of course, if you would be worrying about it obstructing a portion of your screen, or if you just want to keep it somewhere out of the way, you can of course use the included tripod. And that works very well. And again, there's a very nice sturdy tripod that it comes with, so that is a nice addition to give you that tripod. So here you can see on Amazon, they do have the StreamCam available for $169 at the time I'm recording this video. There's the black graphite color, they call it. They also do make the lighter color, as you can see here. That price is a little higher than $169. It must be sold out from Logitech. It's probably being sold from a third-party seller, and that's why it's a little higher. But as you can see, you do have those two choices in color. Again, both very nice-looking webcams. And it's really cool they give you the option of what color you prefer. Now, I should note that this is not, even though it's Logitech's newest webcam, it isn't necessarily their highest-end one. For $30 more, for $199, they do have the 4K Brio camera. It doesn't have all the same features as the StreamCam, and obviously a much different design, more traditional. But if 4K is something that's very important to you, this is $30 more, and it does have the ability to record in 4K. Okay, so this camera does work with Logitech proprietary software. By no means is the software required, but it is there, it is available if you want to use it. And it does have some possibly useful features and ways to change the settings of the camera. It's called Logitech Capture, so you can just download it from Logitech's website if you want. But here's the Logitech Capture software. Here it is on Windows. As you can see, it does have some basic settings you can change. So if I go to the camera tab here, I can adjust the resolution of the camera. By default, here it is on its full resolution, full HD 60. I can turn down the FPS if I want to. I can also turn down the resolution as low as 360p. The software also does support recording, doing like little screencasts or whatever you want to do here. As you can see, Angela from The Office, a little Funko Pop of Angela from The Office holding her cat is my test subject today, to save you from having to see my face. You can adjust your video sources here. You can do a little picture-in-picture thing if you want to do like a screencast. You can make it all the screen if you want to, all the camera if you want to. You do have the recording functionality here. You can adjust which mic you want to use, whether you want to use the built-in mic in the StreamCam, or if you have a better mic you want to use from your computer, however you want to do that. Again, I will say the software is not required. This camera works very well with OBS. You don't have to use this software, but if you want to, it is here. It is available. The software does support the vertical camera mode. So I'm going to take the camera now and turn it on its side. As you can see, it does switch to vertical. So if you want to, for whatever reason, record in vertical video, you can do so through Logitech software. A lot of like a lot of programs won't support that. If you just turn the video on its side, like if you're in a Zoom meeting or something, it won't do that. It won't go to vertical without this software, and I'll show that in a second here. But there are some functionality of the camera that you do need to use the Logitech Capture software for. Otherwise, the programs itself, the third-party programs themselves, will control the camera settings. One thing to mention is I think by default they have a watermark turned on. Probably don't want that, so all you have to do is go into the this little option here, and you can flick off watermark. You won't have that anymore. You have other add some artistic effects here, some text overlaying the video, stuff like that. So that is a cool feature if you want to do that in the Logitech Capture software. This camera does have autofocus, and it does work pretty well. Seems to switch back to being in focus pretty quickly here. There that is in focus. See, the autofocus does work pretty well. And that's not, and the software is not required for the autofocus to work. That's built into the camera. That'll work even if you're not using the software. Now here is the Logitech Capture software running on a Mac. Now I should note,
as of the time I'm recording this video in late 2020, this does not work on the new M1 Macs. If you have an M1 Mac, it'll install, Rosetta will translate it, it'll look like it's going to work, but as soon as you go to open it, it crashes immediately. Every time you open it, it crashes and it won't open and it's unusable. So this cannot be used on a new M1 Mac as of now. Now, there could be an update down the line, but for right now, just keep that in mind. It only works on Intel Macs. But anyway, here it is on an Intel Mac, and as you can see, it's pretty much identical to the experience of how it is on Windows. It looks exactly the same. All the controls are the same. You could pick multiple video sources. You can do, little things like picture-in-picture here. Do your recordings. You can adjust your settings of the camera here. Adjust your resolution, frame rate, whatever you want to do. But yeah, it only works on Intel Macs for now at the time I'm recording this video. But as you can see, it's exactly the same as how it is on Windows. All functionality is the same.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to show you real quick here. So if you're going to use a third-party application with Logitech StreamCam here, for example, Zoom. Here I have Zoom up. When you go into your video settings and you pick the camera source. So right now it's just set on Logitech StreamCam. So when it's just set on Logitech StreamCam, that's going to use Zoom itself or whatever your third-party application is, Teams or Skype, whatever you're using. When it's just set to Logitech StreamCam, the application itself, Zoom or whatever, will do the video processing. It'll change the settings. So any settings as far as appearance, as far as quality, as far as vertical or horizontal orientation. In this case, Zoom itself would be controlling all of that. So any changes you tweak, any settings you tweak with the Logitech Capture software won't be reflected here. If you want those changes in the Logitech Capture software to be reflected as your camera source, you have to pick Logi Capture instead of just StreamCam. This actually uses the Logitech Capture software, and it'll apply any changes you made in it. So when I have Logi Capture selected as a source, for example, if I were to take my camera and turn it on its side like that for the vertical video, there it is. Now Zoom actually switches to vertical video, and the people in my meeting would see it vertically. It won't do that if I just keep it on the Logitech StreamCam. If I just keep it on Logitech StreamCam, it'll just be a sideways camera, but it'll actually change the vertical if I use Logi Capture. Same thing where if in the Logi Capture software, if I added like a text overlay or other effects or whatever, that would be visible in Zoom if I picked the source as Logi Capture. Once again, to do that, I need to have the actual Logitech Capture software running and minimized while I'm doing my Zoom meeting or whatever. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, if you just pick the Logitech StreamCam as the camera source, the third-party application you're using will just use its own camera settings and disregard anything that you changed in Logi Capture. Now, for example, for something like OBS, you'll want to use Logitech StreamCam as the source. You don't want to use Logi Capture because OBS is very compatible with this camera. It has a lot of settings. You can adjust the resolution, a lot of settings in OBS itself. So in cases like that, you'll probably want to use Logitech StreamCam and not Logi Capture. You wouldn't want the software processing in that case because you'd want OBS to do the software processing. But if you do want a situation where you want the changes you made in the Logitech Capture software to be reflected, then you want to pick the camera source as Logi Capture instead of just the camera itself. And here is the built-in webcam and microphone on the Dell Precision 5520. Once again, this is pretty much the same thing as a Dell XPS 15. But anyway, here's that built-in webcam. It has that very awkward bottom left corner webcam and the built-in microphone on the Dell. Here is the camera and microphone quality of the Logitech StreamCam. I'm using the built-in mic and the StreamCam as well as its camera, of course, and I'm just using the Windows 10 default camera app. And here is the built-in webcam and microphone on the late 2020 MacBook Air. This is a test of the built-in
camera and microphone on a MacBook Air. And I'm just using the built-in photo booth application to do this. Here's the built-in camera and microphone and Logitech StreamCam being run on the MacBook Air going through photo booth. So this is the StreamCam. Here's the built-in front-facing camera on an iPhone XS Max. This is the front-facing 1080p camera. And this is the rear-facing 4K camera on an iPhone XS Max. This is the 4K camera on an iPhone XS Max. Here is the camera and microphone quality of the Logitech StreamCam. I'm using the built-in mic in the StreamCam as well as its camera, of course. And I'm just using the Windows 10 default camera app. Here's another sample of the built-in MacBook Air webcam. And here's a sample of the Logitech StreamCam attached to the MacBook Air. Here's more of the built-in MacBook Air webcam. Here is more of the StreamCam. Again, more of the built-in MacBook Air webcam. And again, here's more of the Logitech StreamCam. Again, here is the built-in front-facing camera on the Dell Precision / XPS. This one's not too hard to beat. It's pretty bad, but I'm going to include it anyway. This is what it looks like when I switch to the Logitech StreamCam on the Dell. Now it is getting darker out here than when I started this test on the MacBook Air, so this might be a little unfair. Probably won't look as good as it did on the MacBook Air, but here is the StreamCam on the Dell in low light. Here again is the 1080p front-facing selfie camera on the iPhone XS Max. Here again is the 4K front-facing camera on an iPhone XS Max. And again, here's more of the Logitech StreamCam. Okay, so final verdict on the Logitech StreamCam Plus here. I think, without a doubt, it's definitely better than any built-in webcam and a laptop. At least a little bit better, if not much better, like in the case of the Dell. I will say the MacBook Air used to have an absolutely terrible webcam. The new M1s are a lot better. They're the same lens, but they added better imaging processing. So in good lighting conditions, it's closer, but the StreamCam does still visibly look better, though, especially in lower light. So yeah, it definitely is a good quality 1080p webcam.
It does have a really fast, good working autofocus as well. Now, I will say it still isn't as good as the front-facing 4K main shooter on the iPhone XS Max, which is a phone from 2 years ago. And that's the thing. Phones still have better cameras on them. I will say that the StreamCam is good. It's definitely good for a webcam. But yeah, if you have a higher-end smartphone, from within the last couple of years, the main camera on it is still going to be better than this. That's just, and it's just the way it is. Webcams are kind of an afterthought in terms of quality for whatever reason. But this is definitely one of the better ones that you will find for sure. $169. I mean, it's a decent camera. It's hard to say, is it worth that much? I mean, let me put it this way, especially at a time when webcams are sometimes hard to find, when 10-year-old webcams were being inflated for hundreds of dollars they were selling for by third parties. I mean, at least, if you need a webcam immediately and the one you want is like hard to find or the price is inflated ridiculously, at least this one here for $169, that's the actual retail price of it. That's where it should be priced at. And you're getting a good modern webcam. As opposed to paying over $100 for a webcam that's actually supposed to be like $30 or $60, but it's being blown up to that price because of demand. But no, yeah, I mean, webcams, for $169, I wish it was 4K, but I mean, the Brio for $30 more is 4K. Something to keep in mind, maybe one of the reasons why webcams always tend to be lower quality, it seems, than like phone, cameras and dedicated cameras and things like that, is because it actually, the way a webcam works, it actually takes a good amount of oomph on your computer side to be able to power it. For example, even at 1080p 60, you may find that if your computer is a couple years old, or if it's like a lower end computer, or even a more premium computer, but that if it's more like an Ultrabook that has maybe only a dual core processor or Intel HD graphics, it might struggle a little bit to pull the full 1080p 60 on this. Testing this originally on an Intel Macbook Air. I could not use 1080p 60. It would drop frames. It did not look good at all, and the fan would run full blast. I had to put it down to 1080 30, and even then the fan would run loudly. Now on the new M1 Mac, that's completely different, no problem at all with the 1080p 60. But just keep that in mind. Chances are, it is possible you could have your laptop, especially, might have some problems pushing that 1080p 60, or if it does do it, it might just get ready. You might be hearing your fan a lot. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, of course, you could turn the quality down, but then again, it kind of stinks not getting the full quality out of the webcam. But just keep that in mind. Maybe that's one of the reasons why the built-in webcams and laptops always seem so bad, is because they want the system to be able to handle them easily. Yeah, just keep that in mind. Some systems may struggle a little bit with a 1080p 60. You might have to turn down to 30 or even 720p maybe. So that's just something to keep in mind with this. So, that's maybe a reason why this would be better than the Brio, which is 4K. That would be even harder to push than 1080 60. So just keep that in mind. There are some limitations on the computer side, unless you have a really good, powerful computer, then you don't have to worry about this. But this is definitely a nice, modern-looking webcam. It does perform pretty well. But once again, your phone camera will probably still beat it. But I am happy with it. It's going to beat any laptop you have laying around, almost certainly. And of course, if you're using it with a desktop, then you don't have a camera at all, so it'll be good. A few things about this. Do not buy this if you don't have a device to plug it in that uses USB Type-C. Like if you're using this with a PC or laptop that only has Type-A, don't buy this webcam. Yeah, you can get little adapters and stuff that'll make it go to Type-A. I tried that. Your results may vary. Usually the adapters make it lose some bandwidth. You probably won't be able to get full resolution or full FPS out of it. Like I wasn't able to do 1080p 60 when I used the adapter on a computer that only had Type A. I was only able to do 1080p 30. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't recommend this. There's a lot of cheaper options for webcams. If you have a Type A only device, don't buy this one. Buy one of those. Or if you do want a high-end webcam, you can get the $30 more Logitech Brio, which has a USB Type-C port on it, but the cable is not permanently attached. It has a port on it, so you can use either a Type-C to Type-C cable or a Type-C to Type-A cable, and that actually comes within the box, a Type-C to Type-A cable. So if you have a device that doesn't have USB Type-C, but you still want a super high-end webcam, get that. Get the Logitech Brio for $30 more, for $200. And it also has the added benefit of 4K. But if you have a device like a Mac that only has USB Type-C ports, this is a good option. This might even be the better option than the Brio, because the Brio, you can use whatever cord you want with it, but the one it comes with is Type-C to Type-A. You wouldn't be able to just plug it right into your Mac unless you had an extra Type-C to Type-C cable laying around. So with the StreamCam, it has the permanently attached cable, which could possibly be a downside if, you know, if it ever breaks or something. But, I mean, most webcams do have permanently attached cables, so that's not a huge deal. But, yeah, super convenient, this webcam. If you have a Type-C device, absolutely super convenient. But avoid it if you have a Type-A only device, because you don't want to mess with adapters and stuff. You're just going to lose quality. Any other downsides? Like I said, it is only 1080p 60. It looks really good, but still, you know, if you want a 4K, you don't get that in this one. Again, it's called the StreamCam. I don't really see any streamer-specific features that make this so great. The vertical video, I don't know if they really care about that. But again, I reviewed this from the point of view of a general-purpose webcam. So, I mean, I think it's great for that. I don't know about the extra streaming features. I do like they give you the tripod in the box. That is really nice. But again, for $169, this is a pretty darn good webcam. It, like I said, it's Logitech's newest webcam. It has a very nice looking modern design to it. It connects perfectly with devices that have USB Type-C. And the quality is pretty much one of the better webcams you will find. Definitely really good for a webcam, but again, for a webcam, phone front-facing cameras or their main shooter cameras are still going to be better than this. That's just the way it is. But for $169, if you want a really modern webcam to use with your USB Type-C device that has good quality and some possibly useful features to you with a modern design, then I think the Logitech StreamCam is a good option.